Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the channel. Just thought I'd give you a quick, left this guy out, we'll get to it. Quick overview of how I clean my Traeger grill. This is the 810 model that Costco carries, but I think some of the stuff I'll cover applies to everything. So I always keep mine covered with the cover that it came with, and I highly recommend keeping yours covered because it keeps it relatively clean. I'm not going to bother cleaning the shelves today. That's pretty self-explanatory, normal kitchen cleaning appliance stuff. So first thing I do, obviously, is I'll take off the grills. Just going to put these in the sink here. I usually reuse this a few times, and it's fairly easy to clean, but this time I think it's kind of had it. So we're just going to get rid of that. That's going to go in the trash. This guy, not super important to keep it clean because it's always covered. Mine's kind of a lot of heat discoloration, but there is some grease going on here, which I'm not sure how that got in there, but sometimes it can drip on the far end past the aluminum cover, and it will drip down, whatever that can happen there. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of ash and residue and dust here. So we're just going to clean that real easy with just our shop vac. Then I like to use like a hard knife like this, just to kind of get the bottom here. Now, some of you might wash this, but I don't like washing things if they don't need to be washed, because water is never really good for any metal surface. Okay, so then this guy goes back in. Like so. Although I did take a few pellets out. I'll just put a few pellets in, so when it starts out, it's not starving. Okay, so you might be the kind of person that likes to take a big hard brush to your grills. I don't recommend that with the Traeger because it really doesn't need it. A little bit of water, and at worst a little bit of like dishwashing soap or some vinegar or whatever it is that's going to help you dissolve the fat will work. I actually don't use anything other than water. I just use some paper towels, maybe a sponge. It's this really old sponge, but the old sponge, the older the better. So whenever I'm done with them in our kitchen sink and they've kind of served their life essentially, then they make their way over to the garage sink or laundry room sink or wherever it is that you're going to clean this. I do recommend doing it in a sink if you have the luxury of a large sink. If you don't, you can just put like a large aluminum tray or a tub of some kind and just wash them in there and just gently go up and down with hot water. Now, it's part of the reason I wear the gloves is because I like to run the water kind of hot, and I don't want to have to worry about burning my hand and stuff like that. This water is super hot right now, but I'm able to work without a problem. And as you can see, it's cleaning itself pretty nicely. There are some areas where I need to go over a little bit better. And I apologize if the lighting isn't very good, but I can assure you that it's doing a pretty decent job of cleaning. Turn it over. This is the underside of my grill surface, so it's already pretty clean. But, and again, you don't need to like get this, like, depending on what you're cooking, right? Like if I was cooking burgers, I would probably get this a little cleaner. Maybe I would even use some sort of, maybe a slight little bit of dishwashing liquid or something like that. But today, I'm not cooking anything with that much contact. So I don't like to use chemicals when I don't absolutely have to. Like, just because, you know, the grill won't last you as long if you're using those, like a lot of abrasive chemicals, like, or abrasive brush. This brush has actually lost almost all of its, this sponge has lost almost all of its abrasiveness, which is why I like to use older sponges. I'm not just trying to save money. And then some of the cleaning happens when I'm drying it, right? Because realistically, water doesn't get rid of grease. Water just gets rid of the stuff that cakes on top of the grease sometimes. But this paper towel will get rid of the rest of that stuff. If you're super retentive and you want a much cleaner surface, which again, that's a matter of choice, then maybe I would take a slightly more abrasive sponge and then use a little bit of dishwashing liquid, just a tiny bit, soft dishwashing liquid. Don't use a metal brush, and don't use like a industrial like degreasing solution or anything like that. This is now my last one of these guys. The Traeger website's actually out of them, which sucks. I like to kind of bend the ends a little bit so that they sit in here. There we go. And that's how I clean the Traeger. And if you're not familiar with this stuff, it comes in a spray bottle, and it also comes in kind of a rubbing compound, like a paste, like that. Like that. And both of these are great cleaning solutions. And the spray is especially nice because it's a lot more convenient for stuff like this. So if you insist on seeing the rest, I just spray it on. I think the last time we cooked, it took us a couple of days before we covered it. So it did get a little weather on it. Yep. Maybe use a towel rather than a paper towel. But this works pretty well. You notice I'm cleaning the food surfaces last because I kind of want that pink stuff to do its job and soak in a little bit. You notice how easy that stuff comes out with the pink stuff. Usually I find one application is all I need. But today I'm going to give it just one more soft bit here. I don't actually use this surface for food very often, hardly ever, in fact. So you don't see me cleaning that often. That's why. Because, I don't know. I like to bring a cutting board from inside the house that's been nice and cleaned. And then do that. Okie doke. Traeger's clean. Smoking. Gonna throw a big chuck roast on here in just a moment, as soon as I'm done cleaning that other grill. But I'm gonna say goodbye to you folks, because that's all we were gonna do. It's really smoky outside. I don't know why.